Hey everyone. So today I'm going to be making a new video series, a series showcasing Oberon with various Helminth abilities. Um, if you haven't talked to me or seen my content before, well, I'm an Oberon main as you can tell as you hold on as you can tell I am an Oberon main, so uh, and as you could probably also tell, I have a lot of different builds for him. So I've been experimenting with a lot of different Helminth abilities. I've just been testing a lot of stuff out. I decided that I'm going to make a video series showcasing showcasing each ability, each Helminth ability. So each video will be about an ability, and then I'll have at least one build to showcase for it, and I'll explain sort of I guess the nuances of the ability choice. Alright, so to start off with, I'm using Airburst, um, and I don't really have much to talk about in terms of the nuances of ability choice here. Obviously I'm using it as a grouping ability. So the alternatives to that are Larva and whatever Gaia's is. Um, Admittedly, I don't have Gaia subsumed yet. I actually do have her. I do have her built, as you can see. But I'm gonna level her up and then I'm gonna subsume her. I don't feel particularly to keep her, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to test out builds with Gaia, and then I'll see how that compares to Airburst. But from what I understand, they're both. From what I understand, Airburst is better than Larva because you can have multiple instances of it at once. At least better in this particular scenario, because you can have multiple instances of it at once. And again, from what I understand, it's more targeted than whatever Gaia's ability is. And again, I'm going to actually do a proper comparison once I actually get that subsumed and test it out. But for now, that's basically the reason why I chose Airburst over the other two. So yeah, let me actually show these builds here. Another thing about these builds is that these are also the builds that I would use if I wasn't doing a build a with an infused ability. So if this was just just all the default abilities, yeah, this is basically the build that I would use. Now, of course, I have three variants, but yeah, all the basically essential mods here are the Umbral mods, right? You want Fleeting XP, and then you want another efficiency boost. Boreal's Hatred works, but if you're not using this set, you'll probably want Streamline here. And you want Streamline, let me show it here. You want Streamline specifically because you get less drain per second on renewal, so that's 0.5. Then this right here is, I think, 1.25. Yep, 1.25. So you get a lot you get a lot more energy economy with Streamline, but you get that damage reduction with Boreal's Hatred. And I'll show you actual loadouts that I use this with. This isn't really a loadout that I particularly use. You also, let's see, I'm not sure if I mentioned the range already, but you really want the range. It's just these two really. You don't need Augur Reach. I mean, you could also do Overextended plus Augur Reach if you like the extra shields for shield gating, but yeah, Overextended plus one of these, that's fine. And then your last slot you can kind of use for whatever. you do also need poor corrosive projection, and this is only here if you're using the Boreal set. So as you can see here, I just use a different mod. Now you can see that my strength is 142%, which that plus augmented would bring me up to 200% power strength, which is what you need for full armor removal with Reckoning. So those shards are there for my shard amp build here. So as you can see, I don't have corrosive projection. Instead, I can use the mecha set, one of my favorite sets. But if you're not using argon shards, you're going to want to use what's it called? Oh yeah, corrosive projection. I think you could also get away with like one argon shard. Then you put power drift here, and then any aura you want. But I use two, so I could have freedom in my Exus and my aura. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If you're going to go the power drift route, you only need a regular shard, because power drift is the equivalent of a tile forged, and one tile forged plus one regular is enough. So if you have power drift, you just need the regular. Let's see. Let me actually show you my loadouts for this. So all four of these loadouts use the same build, which is the one that's in the second config slot. Oops, wrong thing. Which is one that's in the second config slot. So as you can see, this is the damage build, which has vigorous swap. Yeah, vigorous swap instead of arc reach. That's the only difference. And I'll pretty much always pair this one with this Zaw right here. So this Zaw, it's maximum damage and maximum status, I think. And as you can see, the build, it's a gas proc build with a ribbon, pretty nice ribbon. Not the best. I mean, it's basically just damage, and that has a lot of diminishing returns with Boreal's Hatred, and then oops, I keep pressing the wrong thing. With Boreal's Hatred and then Vigorous Swap, so it could be better, but it has minus impact. Wow. Anyway, it has minus impact and initial combo, which are both nice, and plus, like, even though it's diminishing returns, extra damage is always good, so that's fine. It is also status duration boosted. I actually really want to have status duration on my Riven. But yeah, I just need to roll it more, and I've been rolling other Rivens. But yeah, that combos really well with Airburst here, which I'll explain in more detail in a bit. Now for my weapon, I have basically a status stacker. So Scourge, I have corrosive, viral, and heat, so it's going to remove 90% of an enemy's armor at full stacks, and then it's also going to have them take 3.5 times more damage, I think that's what it is. I think that's the multiplier. So you're basically dealing like, if an enemy is like really heavily armored, you're going to basically be setting them up to deal like 30 times more damage, but probably over 30, but yeah, 30 times more damage. I've packed primary dexterity on here to help with the Zaw, and then tactical reload. I don't have to manually reload. I can just do whatever. And yeah, I have the prime main over near build here. I just haven't filled in the other ones. It should be just like the same exact build. Prime may have corrupted, but I don't use this particularly for damage, so I just haven't done it. I mean, like, if I wasn't recording right now, I would actually just I would actually just copy that build and just put a corrupted version there, but I'm not gonna subject you to that. Let me show you guys the other loadouts just real quick. So Astilla Prime on Infested, this is Viral, and of course Auto Reload, Primary Dexterity, and this is the one I use for Corpus. I don't need to pull up the Corpus build because, you know, it's basically the same thing as that, but the different Astilla build. And, you know, why do I have the Grenier build on here? Man, these are a bit of a mess, but yeah, it's, you know, basically they're slightly modified for the different factions, so I can just like quick swap between them. Like I said, this is like, well, I don't know if I said it already, but this is like my, I guess, best overall power build, and I think it's really good for damage too. Just because of the synergy between gas procs and grouping up enemies, plus the armor removal. All that together makes it, I think, a really good damage build. It's it's basically my default for Steel Path. So, you know, I have builds for other stuff, but you know, if I'm really like trying to get into something quickly, or I just can't decide what to bring, I'll bring one of these builds. Alright, so let me think. I don't think I've properly showed the last build yet. Let me go back to this one. I don't like to what do you call it, change any builds that aren't labeled other. So like, you know, I like to just keep them the same and just select them when I need them, and then I have these as basically variable loadouts. So yeah, that's why I'm only showing it on this one, so I don't like accidentally leave it as the wrong thing like I do with my Infested build, apparently. So this is the Shard build. As I said, the Archon shards, they bring it up to the amount of strength that would generally be covered by corrosive projection. So as you can see, 142. Molten Augmented is a 60% boost, so it would be 102% power strength. And with the extra mod space I put on the Mecha set. Mecha set's one of my favorite sets, and yeah, that's basically it. You know, I think it's just a much more powerful build because I get basically that extra AoE. You know, I bring enemies together, I give them the damage over time, and then once they die from that, other enemies that are like coming into range will also get killed. So, you know, it's just like 30-meter range of killing, which also roughly matches up with my hallowed ground range. The reckoning range is a bit larger. So if I can remove armor from it, basically I can put a gas proc on it. So yeah, this is very good area of effect killing. So let me go back to this one, and I'm going to jump into a mission. I'll show you my other shards too. So I have 2 Talforge casting speed shards, and then I have this Talforge Amber shard, which really helps with just like, I guess, spammability. I did originally have, because my original version of the build used Transient Fortitude in the slot, which brought the duration down way lower, and because I was using Boreal's Hatred, it wasn't like being very strongly counteracted. So I had the duration to really like counteract it, and plus the extra energy on energy arts, because I think, you know, you kind of get diminishing returns with these, with just like stacking small duration boosts. So just having both boosts is a lot better. So I don't think this is like entirely necessary to have anymore, but it's nice to have, I guess. You know, I might eventually replace this for another casting speed shard, but you know, I don't like using my excretions unnecessarily, so yeah. So I'm going to jump into a mission. I do like using Circulus as like my main testing ground. So yeah, let's see. We got one person. It's probably gonna be someone else who joins before the end of it, but I don't particularly need people to be with me. I guess they're just kind of good to have around for comparison's sake. Let's see. I almost forgot what I was doing there, because I'm not used to talking this much when I'm playing. As you can see, I don't think I mentioned my focus tool yet. I have Naramon. Now, obviously, that lets me keep up my combo for long, but as you also saw, the opening slam ability also allowed me to build up combo really fast. So I mean, this is slow. So I mean, I can't exactly show the speed of the combo build-up, but you can imagine just how long it'll take to build a combo like that. Now, with my combo duration, which is I think 30 seconds, it can be maintained for a while. So like, if I had to build a combo that way, it'd be no problem. And that's also part of the reason why I have Shimmering Light as my stance instead of a higher damaging one. You know, it's relatively fast and it allows me to move as I'm using it, so it allows me to move more freely as I'm using it. I think it's ideal for actually like building up combo. There are some other reasons I use it, but don't need to worry about that too much. So yeah, I build up combo really fast and you know, deal some really good damage. I think someone else removed the armor there because my Molt Augmented isn't built up. I don't think I would have been able to do that at this point, but the armor removal is still quite valuable. When you start out like it, I mean at 42, I should be at basically 75%. No.
Oculists, if they scan you,
yeah, I think 75% armor removal right now. Probably even higher actually, but yeah, it's a significant amount of extra damage. Like, you know, if something was like really heavily armored, that's like you're still like quadrupling your damage against them. So you know, it's worthwhile to remove armor even if you don't have 100% armor removal. So yeah, it's still worthwhile to remove armor. That's my whole point. I thought I had something else to say there, but no. So let's see. I don't think there's a whole lot more to really explain with this build. So like as you can see, you know, I generally try to stay in the air, and then I'll airburst things. Things are just too tough, I'll remove their armor, and then that's basically that. I guess I should explain how I actually like maximize the damage on this build. So let's find somewhere that's more enemy dense. I wonder what this guy's talking about. That doesn't even look like a limbo. It looks like someone's using Citrine, someone's using Neja. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. My mic is plugged so I control, so you can't hear me. Why are they just letting them float around like that? Okay, so anyway, more enemy in this area, and with an Exodus, perfect. So what I like to do is I like to actually aim Airburst right at the Exodus, and then hit the whole group of enemies with the Exodia Contagion. So basically, the Exodus does not move because of because of Airburst. You know, it's immune to the crowd control when it has its overguard on.
They know you're here.
So what I instead do is I'll move the other enemies into the Exodus, right? So I can still get that quadratic scaling. I think I explained that right. That basically instead of your damage being multiplied by the amount of enemies present, like you normally would get with AoE, it's damage multiplied by the amount of enemies present squared. Right, so you know if it's 4 enemies, it's not quadruple damage. It's 16 times damage. Hopefully, I didn't explain that already, but I don't know. So yeah, I just bring the other enemies in for that quadratic scaling. As you can see, it's pretty monster damage. And as you can see, like some enemies, they're just they're tanky enough to like really resist the gas pox. But that's also what the Scourge is for. So with Scourge, if it's just like a particular group of enemies that you're struggling with, you're gonna be able to remove the armor and you're gonna be able to get them viral pox, right? But with the build's armor removal, with the Oberon's actual armor removal, you just take away the armor from all the enemies, and then you know it's quick deaths for all of them. So you basically choose based on how the enemies are spread out. You know, use Scourge if it's just a tough group that you're damaging, and you use Reckoning if like just the enemies, if they're just enemies all around you, and you think it'll just be easier to remove all of their armor. So yeah, pretty good. What's my damage? Decent. What's this guy even using? I don't know. Anyway. Is that everything I had to say? I guess I should probably mention that Axolotl, it has secondary dexterity, so you know that contributes to the, what do you call it? Combo duration. Axolotl in particular is just because it's the best single target secondary I have at the moment. I'm working on some others which might eventually replace Axolotl, but right now Axolotl is my best one. You can see that's what like the lingering gas pox can do. Is all that guy just like walked in and died. You know, this is gonna stay for 15 seconds. I think it's 15 seconds because of the 110% status duration boost. So you know, you put that at a choke point. You know, get rid of their ancient aura. So you put that at choke point, right? You just hit them with the gas box. See, this heavy gunner is a bit tough, so I'm gonna have him take like 10 times more damage. And then, you know, any enemy that walks into there, I mean, nothing's really coming right now, but any enemy that would walk through there, that's just gonna die. Let me help this guy out with these Lula Thorax. There we go. Another way you can like kind of do it is that like you see how like I kill these enemies at this spot right here. Now I can bring enemies into that spot to die. Right, and if I want, I can like just stack further status on. You see how they just so that's the way you can do it. This guy wants to leave already, but I think I'm gonna stay here. Well, nah, I don't need to stay here. I think I showcased enough. So like these guys, they just die from that. So yeah, that's the build. as I extract here, I'm gonna talk a bit more about the series itself. I was gonna do that as I was playing, but we're going now, and I can actually show a bit more of what I'm talking about. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get every Helminth ability its own video. But I don't think, realistically, I don't think I play Warframe enough to actually, like, feasibly do that. So, I mean, I'm going to do as many as possible. There are going to be some things I specifically get for videos, but I don't think I'm going to really get to everything. For example, like larva, I don't really feel like farming another Nidus for larva. The problem with Nidus is that I use Nidus in Conclave, and if I remember correctly, Nidus Prime is not available in Conclave, so I have to use my regular Nidus, meaning that I would have to farm another regular Nidus to be able to do that. So probably no Nidus unless like I really feel like farming him, or like, you know, maybe I get a 75% off, and like I feel like, you know, it's fine for me to just buy him, to buy a second one for the sake of that. But yeah, with Nidus and probably with some other frames, you know, I don't think I'm going to be willing to just farm them for the sake of that, just for like the sake of showcase, really, because I don't think I'm going to actually like use larva on a build, you know, like it would just be for the video. So yeah, let's see, but I think I will be able to get most of these. Like even some of the ones that seem bad, I think there are some interesting things that I could do with them. Like I've actually really been trying to level up so I can get Sickening Pulse. I think that's actually going to be really good. Yeah, I'm excited to actually eventually show that. So yeah, let's see. The other thing I want to talk about is, okay, yeah. So also things like ribbons and Archon shards. Like this is supposed to be somewhat of a guide, right? So like, you know, if you look at you know, this build, it's like, you know, this is a build that you know, basically anyone can put together. Like even like, you don't need these three on Proforma, right? You could like, I think Oberon starts with 3 Zenuric. I mean, not 3 Zenuric. It's 3 Madurai, a Naramon, and wait, 3 Madurai, a Naramon, and a Vizarin. So I mean, like, I mean, obviously you don't need this number 4 because of the spare capacity I show here. But I think you could also just like polarize these two, and then you'd have enough spare capacity to not need this polarized. And so you just take like the 2 Zenuric polarities, you turn one into Naramon, and then well, yeah, you turn them both into Naramon, and then you'd add like 1 or 2 other Naramon, and you do that. So yeah, it's a guide in some sense where, like, you know, you can definitely like pull off these builds on your own. Like you don't need like ribbons and stuff for them. Like as I told you, you get some strong diminishing returns on this, on this just this melee damage. So like obviously you can easily get like a ribbon of similar quality, you know, ignoring the minus impact because that really didn't come into play here. So you can get a ribbon of similar quality for the sake of Exodia Contagion. But also you don't like really need a ribbon. Like that's a 203% boost, and how much is Prime Pressure Point? Yeah, so I mean, not much of a difference, especially like, you know, especially if like you consider like the the diminishing returns that are stacked up by Arcane Blade Charger too. So let me just leave this squad. Okay, I guess I'm not leaving the squad. Um, Especially if we consider like diminishing returns based on that. So like, you can very much make this build work well for yourself. Uh, but a lot of the things I'm going to show, it's like it's going to be like more and more costly, I guess. It's like you look at this. I mean, I think it'll take about the same amount of format as the previous one, but I mean, it requires uh, two Archon shards, two or three, depending on whether one of them is Tau Forged or not. And then if you take it a step further, that's not what I meant to do. And then if you take it a step further, you could look at my other Oberons, right? So, I mean, just as a sort of preview to like other things I'm gonna show, this is my Norse build. As so these Oberons, they're meant to take advantage of the Gladiator set, and to complement that, here's what I have. All these are melee crit damage. So, yeah, 5 Archon shards, which are not for strength. That's probably going to be like the weirdest. I guess yeah the weirdest thing if like someone else wants to try this. It's like, someone might be willing to put 5 Archon shards on Oberon, but 5 non-strength shards might be a whole lot more questionable. So in that sense, it's a lot more of a showcase than a guide. Now, I think sort of like something that I hope to do with this video series is kind of like, I suppose, open up people's thinking about like making builds, especially if you main a frame. Because like if you main a frame, like if you don't main a frame, it's like, you use the best frame for the job, right? So, you want to, do something melee based. You I don't know, you take a Rhino, you just take like a high strength Rhino or something. I don't know, it's just the first thing I thought of. And your Rhino will probably have like 2 Archon shards, because like your Archon shards would probably be split between your most used frames. So like you might have 2 on Rhino, 2 or 3 on Wukong, whatever. Right, but if you made a frame, it's like you can really go. You have like, I guess, more reason to go all in with your investment. So I mean, the only reason, well, I wouldn't say the only reason, because I don't have an extra Crimson Tau Forge, but even if I did have one, I wouldn't have a Crimson Tau Forge here because I don't need it. But like, it's a lot more worthwhile for someone like me to have a full Tau Forge set, or even just like a fully slotted set, just like my Gladiator Oberon is. Fully slotted frame, I mean. So, I can, like I said, it's really going all into the investment. So, in that sense, like, in some ways, it's like, I can make stronger builds than people who don't main a frame. It's like, I don't have, I guess, the mission to mission specialization, but like, I can sort of have more overall power, which I think is a really nice balance that the game's allowed to have. It's actually why I really like both the Archon shard system and the Helminth system. It adds like so much customization. Adds customization. That's what the Helminth system really does. It really lets you customize your frame, right? Primarily, like Helminth system primarily is customization, and then the Archon shard system is like primarily personalization. So like, you power up the things that you use most, and like you like split that up between how much you use them. So it's like, if you made a frame, you can really concentrate that power that you very slowly accumulate like every week. Whereas, if you use a bunch of different frames, then you split that between them, but you can be more situationally adaptable, which is something that I really like. So yeah, kind of back to what I was saying before. It's like I hope that I would actually like show people like how you can like really like approach, I guess, min maxing in this way, because I'm pretty big on min maxing, as you might have been able to somewhat guess. I haven't really showcased that here, but I'll explain that in more detail in future videos where like it really matters. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Looking at like my recording, this is probably gonna be a lengthy video, which hopefully you're fine with that. A lot of these videos probably are gonna be lengthy, except for like, I don't know, I guess the ones for abilities that I consider bad, at least bad for Oberon. Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of this one YouTuber called BKC, and he does a lot of these rambly type videos that I love. And I think I kind of lean towards wanting to make that sort of content. So hopefully you enjoy it. So yeah, I'll talk to you all later. I'll be preparing the next showcase for you, and yeah, hope you enjoy.